know about y'all, but I am really starting to get pumped for the Paris Olympics. The Summer Games kick off July 26th. That is 1 week from this Friday. And there's a guy I know who's been counting the days because he is traveling from Seattle to Paris. That is 5,000 miles to cover all the local athletes for King 5. His name is Chris Egan. Bonjour, Chris.
Bonjour, Amédée.
This is exciting.
Thank you, by the way, for the...
You know what? It smells really good. I'm tempted to just bite into it right now, but you can't because we need that for a game later.
Yeah, okay.
But I'll tell you about that later. All right, let's talk. Let's talk about how are you brushing up on your French?
Just little bit by little bit. The main thing for me is making sure I can keep track of all the athletes. We have 70 plus athletes with ties to the state of Washington. 70. Biggest number I've ever seen. 70 with ties to the state of Washington will be competing in the Paris Olympics. It's going to be exciting. So, bonjour and oui is about all I know.
About all it is. Okay, je m'appelle Chris Egan.
My name is Chris Egan.
Yes.
Je m'appelle? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I will use that.
Okay, so you leave Sunday?
Sunday.
So I'm not kidding with the packing. You got to get packed.
I got to get packed. I get ready to go. It's 6:30 flight out of here. It's about a 10-hour flight. I'll arrive 1:30 Paris time, 1:30 p.m. That's 4:30 a.m. Pacific time.
Wow.
Amity, help me through this. A lot of people are saying you're just going to have to tough it through the day to try to get your body, no napping.
Wait, so you just make it through?
Make it through.
Oh, God, you're going to be sick.
And I'm not a big sleeper on planes because I get worried about snoring and people around me.
Wow.
At least my wife tells me that I should not fall asleep.
There's a great set of earplugs, and you know what? Talk to your doctor about.
No, me snoring.
No, I'm saying, wait, you're worried about you snoring?
Snoring, yeah. I don't care about other people snoring. I'm worried about the rest of the flight.
This is why he's a kind person, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about just hitting the ground. And that's the one thing I love about you is that you hit the ground running as a reporter. You're following all these athletes, not just when they're in Paris, but you've been following them for a long, long time now. So let's talk about some of them so we can get familiar, so that when we see their names, we can really cheer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with Nevin Harrison. She competes in the sprint canoe. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Roosevelt High alum. Wanted to be a track star. Got hurt in track, so she picked up the sprint canoe. Trained in Gig Harbor. In 2021, Tokyo Olympics, she became the first ever from the U.S. to win a gold medal in this event. And Nevin won the gold. And here's the thing with Olympic athletes. They train 6 to 7 days a week. They sacrifice a lot. They don't go to a lot of friends' birthday parties. They don't go to a lot of family events because they train. She wins the gold medal. And she said it was tough, Chris, because you think, you're going to get roses and rainbows and unicorns are going to come your way. And you realize the Olympics are done and I got to get back to work and I got to get training again. Aww. And she was thinking, I'm a young kid and I want to experience life a little bit. Yeah. And it took her a year or two and she had some injuries. But now she is back and she is ready to go and she's possibly going to defend her gold medal. She trains down in San Diego, but she's from Seattle, and hopefully she can win a gold medal. We have Jonas Ecker, by the way, and Aaron Small.
Let's talk about them.
Yeah, they are in the same event, and what I love about these two is how many of us run around Green Lake, walk around Green Lake? You ever see the people out on the water?
Yeah.
These two train out in Green Lake. Aaron Small from Seattle, also from Roosevelt High, and Jonas Eckert from Bellingham. Both travel, and it's absolutely amazing to see these two. They're going to be in the Olympic Games, and they work together, so that will be kind of fun.
That's incredible. Let's go to the USA Crew 8 now.
Okay. This is the U.S. Crew 8 team, and they actually trained on the Montlake Cut, which was pretty amazing. This is where the boys in the boat trained back in the 30s, and their head coach is Michael Callahan, who is the head coach of the University of Washington. There are a couple guys on this team that went to the University of Washington. Riley Milne is the coxswain on the team. You have Evan Olson from Bothell High. The story I love about Evan is he tried cross country at Bothell High. Yeah. He said, Amity, I wasn't very good at cross country. His mom gave him the Boys in the Boat book, and the next thing you know, he's in crew, and now he's headed to the Olympic Games.
I love this story about how people find their way to rowing. All right, now let's talk about gymnasts, because we got a gymnast, Jordan, is it Childs?
Jordan Childs grew up in Vancouver, Washington, and this is tough. This is where I say it in Jordan Childs, she was in the 2021 games in Tokyo. Did very well there. Grew up in Vancouver. She trained with Simone Biles. Left Vancouver to go to Texas to train with Simone Biles. But you have another gymnast by the name of Shilese Jones, who grew up in Seattle, trained in Auburn, one of the best in the world on the uneven bars. And this is the tough thing. The U.S., it's not easy to get out of the U.S. At the trials in Minneapolis, Shilese got injured, hurt her knee, so she will not be heading to Paris. And this is the heartbreaking stuff, is these athletes train their entire lives for this one moment, these big games, and she wasn't able to get there because of an injury.
That makes my heart break.
It's very sad, Amity, but it's going to make her tougher. It's going to make her stronger, but it's going to be neat to see Jordan Childs and obviously Simone Biles. In my mind, I've covered a lot of athletes. One of the greatest athletes I have ever seen in person. She is phenomenal, the things that she could do out there.
She's incredible, just incredible. All right, let's talk about Jewell Loyd.
USA basketball, star of the Seattle Storm, Jewell Loyd and she won a gold medal in 2021, but she was kind of, there was Sue Bird, there was Diana Taurasi. Those were the two big stars of this team. Jewell Loyd has a chance to be a really big star for this U.S. women's basketball team, a team that's won 9 of the last 10 gold medals. The U.S. women, one of the most dominating teams in the history of all sports. That's how good they are. So they have pressure to win. Jewell Loyd knows about that pressure. And what's cool with this story, too, is she won't be the only member of the Seattle Storm playing in the Olympics. You have Ezzy Magmagor, Sammy Whitcomb. They'll be playing for Australia. Speaking of Australia, how about this name, Lauren Jackson, coming out of retirement to play for Australia at the Olympics. It's going to be a great story. Everybody in Seattle loves Lauren Jackson. She's going to put on the Aussie uniform. Hopefully we can see a little Australia versus USA for the gold medal. That would be fun.
That would be amazing.
That would be cool.
All right, finally, Josh Hawkinson.
This is an interesting story. Josh Hawkinson grew up in Shoreline, went to Shorewood High School, went to Wazoo. Out of Wazoo, he's the leading rebounder in Washington State college history. Led the Cougars in double-doubles. He wanted to go to the NBA. Didn't get drafted in the NBA. So does he give up on his dreams? No. He goes and plays overseas. He's been in Japan for 8 years now playing professional basketball.
That's so cool.
Loves the culture in Japan. He becomes a citizen, becomes naturalized, and with that, he's now playing for Japan at the Olympic Games.
That is such a great story.
So his parents are so proud. His mom played at the University of Washington. They still live in the Shoreline area. So obviously they say we're rooting for the USA, but we're also rooting for our son Josh and Team Japan.
This is so cool. I am so excited. We're so honored that you get to be there. He's like, by the way, going himself doing this. What Olympics number is this for you?
This is going to be probably 6 or 7 covering the Olympics at King 5, but this will be my 3rd going to the games. I went to Rio. I went to South Korea, and now going to Paris. And what I love about it, Amity, is every day is just a different adventure. It's 20-plus days. You never know what's going to happen. In Korea, I was there to watch the cross-country team win their first gold medal. The next day, the curling team wins a gold medal. The next day, the women's hockey team wins a gold medal. So you don't know what's going to happen, and every day is different.
I mean, and he goes rain, shine, sick or healthy. I remember when you were sick one year. I can't even remember what Olympics that was, but good luck to you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Got this. All right, and before we bid adieu to Chris, he's sticking around for a round of Olympics trivia. That's coming up later in the show. Now, just a reminder, don't miss the Paris Olympics right here on King 5. Our coverage starts July 26th. That is 1 week from this Friday.